Week one of the college football season is officially over, and it brought us everything we asked for: big matchups, upsets all across the board. It was just a great week of college football, a great way to get this season started. But with that being said, we have to talk about our biggest takeaways from week one. And at number one, probably the biggest storyline of week one, which is the SEC is dying at a fast pace. The SEC last season was not the conference they were before. And then this year it picks back up right where it left off. You got Texas losing to Ohio State, Alabama getting upset. The only team that really put on for the SEC was Clemson, or not Clemson, LSU. And then South Carolina won, but they looked shaky against Virginia Tech. So the SEC with NIL, they are no longer the top conference in college football. And I think we need to get used to that for some time. DeBoer, I don't think he's the guy for Alabama. And this conference, man, it's not looking the same. It's not looking as dominant as we've seen it in the past. Now, I know we've only had two different champions, in the past 2 years from another conference, but I don't expect the SEC to get a champion this year. I don't think LSU, I think they play really good. Let me just start with that. I think Brian Kelly has his team ready to play, but if they were to get matched up against one of these Big Ten teams, I don't know if they'd win. Miami looks strong. So the SEC, they need to find a way to build back some momentum in this conference because it's not looking good. The SEC that we once knew and loved, or hated for most people, is no longer the case. The SEC is dying. Another huge talking point: Clemson is not alone in the ACC. Coming into this season, I thought Clemson would dominate this ACC schedule. I thought they'd run their way into the playoffs. And after week one, I'm actually more confident in other ACC teams than I am in Clemson. Now, Clemson didn't play bad against LSU, but like Brian Kelly said in his press conference, LSU really dominated Clemson in that second half. If you look at it, the score really should have been 24-10 to end it, but 17-10. Clemson just, I'm losing hope in Cade Klubnik. I called it coming into the season. I said I don't think he's the best quarterback in the ACC. I think he's overhyped. And that defense looked good, or it looked solid, but LSU was able to move the ball fairly easily. Well, not easily, but they were able to move the ball fairly well against this Clemson defense that we thought was going to be dominant. Now, I'm not saying Clemson can't win the ACC, but if you watched football this week, you see there's a lot of other good teams in the ACC. I think FSU to start, the way they did Alabama was devious. I mean, Tommy Castellanos, he looked elite. He looked like a Heisman contender. And then Miami surprised me. Carson Beck looked sharp, and he had protection, and he had great weapons around him. So this ACC race is not over. It's just getting started. And Clemson, now with the loss on their back, thank God it's not a conference loss for them, but this ACC race is looking a lot tighter than we thought it was. Now, for my third takeaway, Ohio State, the Buckeyes, look just as scary as ever. A lot of people were doubting Ohio State coming into this week, and I don't know why. If there's one thing about Ohio State, they don't rebuild, they reload, and that's exactly what this team did, especially on the defensive side of the ball. If you watch that game, you'll know Arvell Reese looks like the second coming of Micah Parsons. I just have to say how it is. He looked elite that game, fast, explosive, getting into the backfield, making plays. Ohio State's defense, Matt Patricia, you couldn't have had a better, you couldn't have come out week one looking better. You couldn't have. That was the greatest debut I think that we've seen in a long time from a defensive coordinator in a situation like that. Matt Patricia came to play. I mean, he coached against the big Mannings, the Peyton Mannings and the Eli Mannings, and he made Arch Manning look like a fraud. I don't think he is, but that's the way he made him look. He made him look silly. And then on the offensive side of the ball, Julian Sand, the numbers might not back it up, but he was accurate. If you watch that game, receivers were dropping passes, but Julian Sand was never rattled. He looked calm and composed all game, and he made plays in big situations when he needed to. This Ohio State team is just as scary as ever. I'm not going to just overreact and say they're better than they were last year, but this team, they have a legit shot at going back to back, and until a team knocks them off, they should be the favorite to win the championship and should be the number one team throughout the season. There's no question about it. It's only just beginning. It's week one of the college football season. Don't overreact anything. A lot of people are already overreacting on Arch Manning. They think he's not going to be elite because of that game he had against Ohio State. But that's the toughest defense he is going to probably see all season. So don't overreact that any game that happened. Even Notre Dame isn't out of it. I know they didn't look sharp against Miami, but don't overreact them losing that game. It's week one. This is the time to learn. Teams aren't supposed to look their best at week one. So give it time. Just be patient. There's a lot more football to be played. And I promise you, some of the teams that people are already overrating or underrating will be right back in it at the end of the season. So just wait and see. There's a lot more football to be played. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast video. Make sure you like and subscribe. Follow all the channels listed below. And it's just starting. So stick along for the ride. We'll see you on the next one.